Hey guys, Regan here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you what's in my pack for my 5-day archery hunt in Western Washington. So first things first, just going to jump into the quilt right quick. I'll be using a 6 a.m. 10-degree quilt, long wide. It does come with a stuff sack, and that total weight comes in at 2 pounds 6 ounces, 2 pounds 5 ounces, somewhere around in there. Now, depending on the style of hunt and kind of where I'll be at will determine kind of what accessories I'll be bringing out with me. But I will be running the XO 3500 with one hip belt pouch. I'll be using the crib load panel, and then I'll also be using the weapon carrier, and then on the left side I'll be using holster. So the crib load panel actually runs in between your pack and your frame, and this is just going to help kind of hold that meat up into the pack, give it a little bit tighter to the frame. It's going to allow it to carry pretty well. Probably for this hunt I won't be bringing a hydration bladder or the Slurpee stalker, but I will keep this in the truck, and then once I come back with my first load I'll peel the bag off, and then I'll just attach this to the frame and then go in for my second round, third round, however many rounds it takes. The great thing about this pack that I do like is that, I mean, as far as the design of the pack, it lays out pretty well, and what I enjoy most about this is not having to load from the top in, and you really have great access to the side of this pack just by popping a couple zippers here, and you can get in to the whole body of the frame of the pack just by this side zipper. So as I go through some of this stuff, I'm going to be loading it how I would load it in the pack as if I was carrying it out. So the first thing that's going to go in this is my quilt. Now that I have my quilt and my compression sack, I'm just going to unzip the side here, make sure all the straps are loose, and then this is going to go in the bottom of the pack first. Okay, the next thing that's going to go in my pack, right along with the sleep system, is my Big Agnes Q-Core SLX. It's insulated. The depth of the pad is just over 4 inches, and it's pretty thick. So for big guys who don't want their hips hanging on the ground or banging on the ground when you wake up in the morning, this should keep you off pretty good. This comes in at 22 ounces for the long wide. And that's just going to go right in above the quilt. And then I'll be running the Eros Premium pillow regular. And this is an inflatable pillow. Works great. And that's just going to be tucked in there. The next thing that's going to go in my pack is my tent. And this tent is the CC Divide by 6 a.m. Outdoors. It's a 2-person tent. It's got a 3/4 floor in it. And then just the style of the tent is a trekking pole style tent, so there's no tent poles involved here. You're just going to use the trekking poles that you have, and that should set it up pretty nice. And then it can also go 4-season because it does have a stove jack built into the tent. So I'm gonna throw that in next. I'm not going to be using my kill kit a whole lot until you down an animal, so I'm actually going to use the hydration sleeve to put my kill kit in there. And this is all in this pouch, all these little pouches here. And inside this, I got a little Ziploc bag in here. This has a pair of gloves, a few zip ties, some tape, some soaps, some towelette soaps to clean up, and then a black trash bag. And then I have some game bags. These are by 6 a.m. As well. And the nice thing about these game bags is they're antimicrobial with a silver lining. So they're really good at kind of helping fight off a little bit of that bacteria. And then as well for my knife, I'll be running the Havalon Barracuda. And these have interchangeable blades. And so I bring a backup blade for this, and then it also comes with a fillet knife that you can use as well, which I won't be bringing. But it also comes with a bone saw, so I use this as well in case it's needed, and I just bring two blades in case one breaks. So with that is a multi-cloth, and this has plenty of different options that you can use it for, but this is just going to use it to stage my meat. You can also pitch it in case you need to get out of the rain. You can set it up with your trekking poles, and then as well, this can be used just as kind of like a floor, like a clean floor. So you can set it up outside your tent, or it just has a lot of different options to it. So I'll throw that in there as well. Okay. So the next thing that's going to go in the pack is just this is a 2-liter dry bag by Sea to Summit, and this is just going to have all of my medical kit type items. So in here I have some fire starter, you know, some general pills like ibuprofen, Excedrin, Tylenol, that kind of stuff, some vitamin C, and then just the regular standard stuff you would see in a med kit. There's some burn cream in there and different things, and bandages, gauze, all that. So I'll throw that in the pack, kind of tuck that away. Into personal care, toiletries. In here is just my toothbrush, toothpaste, chapstick, some floss, and then some camp soap. And I'll throw that in here as well down the side. Toiletries here. This is just some baby wipes and standard regular paper or toilet paper, and that'll go in the side stretch pocket. Jumping into food, I will be running the Sea to Summit titanium spork. That'll just go down the side, and the GSI, the Glacier Stainless Minimalist, has a koozie. You can pop the lid off. Inside the lid has an oven mitt. I have my lighter in here, my burner, which is by GSI, it's all in the same kit, and then my fuel. So this works out fairly well. Just to talk meals right quick, I'll be just dehydrating and making my own meals. So everything you see here is just going to be a final base weight. No meals, no water included in this weight. And then that'll go there on the side. I'm going to be using the Cabela's Instinct Backcountry down jacket. It's got Foremost Dry Plus. It's a puffy jacket, and it packs down into its own pocket. So I'll just load into the top. And then spare clothes I'm going to be bringing. This is just like in a long athletic hood. So that'll go in as well. I have 2 different pants I might be running. One is what I have on now, and these have the Foremost Dry Plus. They're Cabela's Instinct pants, and they have reinforced Kevlar knees. And then if I'm not going to use those, I need something maybe a little bit more lighter and breathable. I'll run the Prana Stretch Zions. So I'm not going to bring both pairs. I'll just rock, you know, one set of pants, and I'll be wearing that. So I will bring, if the conditions are calling for rain, then I do bring the Space Rain Foremost Dry Plus zip jacket, and that'll cover me head to toe. So I'll actually have this in the truck, and I'll make that determination as we get closer and approach, just to see what the weather's really going to be like right before I take off. So this is kind of one of those things you might or might not be bringing with you. You can cut a little weight, because I think this is around 10 ounces. So I just bring a backup pair of socks, and then as well as an athletic compression shorts, and then a buff. And then I have a beanie as well that'll go, the buff and the beanie will go on the top hood, but the spare clothes I'll just throw right in the top of the bag. So in this, I'll just run this Fossils plate, and then this is just a cooling towel. You get it wet, and then it actually helps cool you. And, you know, in the backcountry, that's pretty nice. This is one of those items that's not really essential, but just one of those preferred things I found that works for me. So that'll go in here, and then this is just a little butt pad. And then, so I'll throw all 3 of these items in here, and then this will zip up the pack. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is water, and what I'll be using is just Analgene This is 32-ounce Nalgene and 2 1-liter platypus bladders, and then I'll run a SteriPen with that. So a great measurement for me to make sure that I'm drinking enough water in the backcountry is that standard for one person per day water consumption is 3.7 liters. So in this example, I have 3 liters here, and if I'm drinking what I need to be drinking per day, once I hit 3 of these, I'll be good. And that'll kind of help me gauge where I'm at, which is kind of hard to tell maybe if you're running a bladder, you know, because you're not really seeing how much water is left, how much is in there, and actually what your intake is. So I like this also for a measurement tool, and it just works for me. If I need it, it's all available here in my hands. The only downside of this SteriPen is that it does require a battery, and then if you don't have this casing shell on top and you drop this, if this breaks, then you know, you're going to be running into some pretty tough decisions on whether or not you need to leave the woods. So I'll just run in my hip pouch. I will throw in my SteriPen in the side just so I have access to it, and then I'll take my 2 platypus 1-liter bladders, and those will go down the side of the stretch pocket. And then this is just going to be something that I clip on to the pack around my waist or whatever, so that'll stay out. Jumping into the hood. In the hood of the pack, I have one of their mesh pockets. This is just Velcro, so this actually just goes inside of the hood and it just Velcros shut like so. And then if you need this, you can just zip this out. And inside this, I'll carry my phone, my wallet, keys, my battery bank, phone charger, that kind of stuff. Battery bank is the Dark Energy. So, you know, if anything is needed out of there, that's what I'll be using. And then my phone will also be my GPS for Onyx. So that'll go in the hood. And then everything as far as lighting is concerned, I'm going to be throwing in this hood as well. I do carry the Primus Micron lantern. This actually goes in your fuel burner, and then this actually is a great heat source as well. And you can hang this inside of your tent. It doesn't burn a whole lot of fuel, and it can kind of warm things up if it's getting a little chilly. Or maybe you're in an area that there's a burn ban, and you just want some extra warmth that you can't get from a campfire. You're going to be able to throw this in. So I do bring a couple spare mantles, and that's in with my Sea to Summit dry bag. For my headlamp, I use the Petzl Actic Core. This is a nice headlamp. It's also rechargeable, or you can just use standard AAA batteries for it. It takes 3. And then built in onto the side is a whistle. So in case you run into a situation where you need it, then it's pretty handy. So I'll throw that in the top as well. And then my buff and beanie will also go in here. And that'll kind of tie in the hood. And I might throw some snacks in here too, but I don't have any food here to demonstrate in this video. And so in this, I'm going to throw in my tent stakes, and then I also have some tent repair stuff in here as well. And I just keep this in this little baggie here. And I'll slide that all the way down to the bottom of the pack. And then in this same pack, I'm going to be running the Lecky Sherpa XLs. And these are their longest model. I think they come in at around 20 ounces. The good thing is, because it is a little longer in length, when you shorten this up to the height of what you're using to walk, it really does add a little bit more sturdiness to the poles. And so these things so far have just been really good for me personally anyways. So I will run both poles down the side pocket. And then I'm going to throw these in there as well. I'm going to be throwing in, I just got some classic Crocs is what they're called, but they're just flip-flops. Use them around for camp at the end of the day, kind of dry your feet off, air them out, whatever. You know, it's just one of those items where, you know, I'll carry it, and if I need to, I could always cut it out, but I just prefer to bring them. They don't weigh a ton. And so I'll just slide these down the side. One thing you probably notice is that I'm not running a scope, and some of that is just due to the area that I'm going to be hunting. It's pretty thick timber, so I don't think I'm going to necessarily be needing it, or if I did, I wouldn't be utilizing it as much as I think. So that stays home. And then on the outside of the pack, this is Phelps' new call, and this thing has been pretty nice so far. Tested it, just came out recently, so been great to use. It only is like a 4.5 ounces, so this is something that's able to fit in the pack. And I'm just going to kind of slide this down into that side stretch pocket, and then I'll clip this in. And then so if I need quick access to it, I can get to it pretty easy. To go into shoes, I'll be running maybe 2 different styles of shoes. I do have the Solomon. These are the XA Pros. They are lows, and they're Gore-Tex. I just prefer something that's maybe more an athletic shoe, because I just don't allow anything rubbing or chafing on my ankles, and they're just really nice to use if it's kind of warm out. As far as running into maybe some different conditions, these boots are made by Cabela's. They're have built-in gaiters. They do have Vibram soles, and then they have a BOA system built into them that you can cinch this down. And then they're 400 Primaloft, so they're a little bit warmer. So kind of depending on what I'm doing as far as weather-wise, where I'll be hunting, I may or may not bring these. So early season, late season. So these are the kind of options I'll be running. To get into the vinyl harness, this is the Vortex vinyl harness. The neat thing about this is they do have the new clips on them. When I purchased them, I thought this was something I'd have to replace, but it's pretty interesting to see those come with those new clips on there. I'll be running the Diamondback 12x50s. These are a pretty good price point for a set of glass. And then for my rangefinder, throw this in the front pouch. I'll be using the Ranger 1500. And then on the side, I do have some Cold Blue smoke in a bottle. And then on the opposite side, I just run one of those little Petzl E-lights, and this is just a spare backup headlamp, and it's an elastic deal. So a pretty nice little headlamp. It doesn't really cost a whole lot as far as weight-wise in the pack or on your vinyls, so I just assume have it than not. And then in the top, I'll run the Vortex lens pen, and then as well as this is just some camouflage makeup, and then has a mirror on it as well. You're going to take this bow, any bow, you're just going to install or just slip it into the weapon carrier, and you can adjust that to the desired height. And then this just has a clip. You run that over the cam, and then just make sure that that's just tight down there. And then just adjust this bow now how you want it to sit on the pack. I'll be running the 2008 Bear Kuma with the Black Gold Ascent Verdict, Black Eagle Spartan arrows, 5-arrow quiver by Cabela's. I call them Mystique. And then I just have a fuse stabilizer on here as well, and a QAD drop away rest. And then you're just going to take the 2 straps, run those through your pack or through the bow, attach them, and then just make sure that those are just snug enough where it's not going to kind of jar around or anything like that. That's going to complete it, guys. Good luck and shoot straight.